Good afternoon. Hey, welcome in. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Danny and Dusty with you.
Whatever.
What?
You know why I'm mad.
It is myself, and we now have a criminal in our presence, Danny Meringue.
Unbelievable.
It finally happened. They didn't get you for what I thought they'd get you for, but they got you.
And they got me in a way that I got pulled over for using my phone while driving.
That's the least surprising thing ever, right?
And the frustrating thing is,
This
the really frustrating thing is, I
like-
was pulling out of the gas station,
Uh-huh.
and my podcast didn't immediately restart, and the app was hidden, and I have face lock on my phone.
Likely excuse.
So I pulled it up to my face to unlock it and press play and put it back in. And as I looked over, the cop looked at me and shook his head and pointed to the side and flipped his lights on. And I went, so he comes to the window and I go, "You're not really pulling me over for unlocking my phone so I can turn my podcast back on, are you?" And he goes, "Well, you had both hands on it." And I just laughed. Like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like, "What?" And he went full
Damn.
cop on me.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, "Come on, man. Really?
Well,
No warning, no nothing?"
you got.
So
Well, he knew. He saw the look on your face and was like, "This isn't his first rodeo."
But yeah, I have my first technical moving violation since I was 16 years old.
This is like when they got Capone. They got Capone for tax evasion.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. He didn't search the car. Should have.
So it finally happened. You got popped.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. That's a
$165 ticket.
yeah. You're gonna have to. I think you should fight it.
I'm going to.
Would you like me to represent you?
Ooh, you want to drive out to Newburgh?
Mm-hmm.
Be my defense.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll wear a tuxedo T-shirt
I like it.
and I'll sit behind you, stepbrother style,
I like it.
and just go, "Objection, Your Honor,"
Prestige worldwide.
and then duck right back behind you again.
What are you objecting?
Hearsay.
Are you just saying things out loud?
Yep.
But yeah,
That sucks, dude.
I got.
All right. Well, that's a horrible start to your day.
It was.
Right?
And it wasn't even like I was doing anything on my phone because I was quite literally just unlocking it. So
you wanted to be like, "I've sent 500 text messages on this road." And he's like, "What? This was not it."
I did kind of insinuate that when he pulled me over, and I was like, "This is what you're not really doing this."
Here's a great text here on the Vancouver Ford text line, 503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, and after the sale. Visit them online at vancouverford.com. When the first thing you say is, "You're not really pulling me over for..." "Yeah, I am, and you're getting a ticket now, smartass."
No. We laughed about it. Like it wasn't like I wasn't being a jerk about it. I laughed. I was like,
Man.
I literally said of all of the things I could get pulled over for.
Yeah. That's a hell of a thing, especially like these are the ones that are so frustrating. Laws don't apply to anyone in Portland, but we're gonna get you on this.
Yeah.
Well, you were in Newburgh, so
Yeah.
you know.
I was a
That's
couple
you.
blocks from my house, so
Yeah.
fun. The convenient thing is the courthouse is I can walk to.
Good.
Very quickly.
Good.
Yeah,
Good. We'll walk there together
There you go.
as your lawyer.
hand in hand.
Well, even though he can still walk there, he'll still do this.
Now watch this drive.
You're probably not wrong.
Judge is gonna be like, "Sir, you're on your phone during this this hearing
For not having a license.
He's like, "What?" I'm sorry, man. That sucks.
It does suck.
Mm.
That's like half of a nice dinner in Las Vegas.
No, it's not. Don't worry about that. It's $165. You're not. It's like a quarter of it now.
That's fair.
It's a quarter of.
Yeah.
It's a quarter of a nice meal in Vegas.
Well, I started doing that with my
You can
wife
get
last
like
night.
4 beers.
We did the let's start laying out the off nights where we want to go, and boy, the other stuff is going to cost more than the airfare in the hotel.
How many times you guys hitting the Spearmint Rhino?
As a couple.
Yeah. And also, what is it? It's the peppermint Oh God, what's the other one? There's another-
Hippopotamus.
Oh God, it might be.
Peppermint squid. The peppermint.
Is that the store brand one?
Yeah. It's off strip.
Yeah.
Peppermint hippo. It is.
It is?
Yes. That's the new one. Yeah. Spearmint rhino and peppermint hippo.
Is that?
I'm
is
not
that-
kidding. I'm
Hold on.
100% not kidding.
Are these
Okay.
the same owners?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, okay.
It's right. It's at the new end of the strip by Wynn and Resorts World. I think
And they called it the peppermint hippo.
Yeah. Spearmint rhino and peppermint hippo. Yeah.
I was joking, and
No.
It really does sound like a dollar store version.
It does.
But it's actually nicer. It's the newer one.
Oh, yeah.
Down by the Wynn and
Yeah.
Resorts World, which are like the two.
Hmm.
I think they're the most expensive hotels on the strip now.
Wow.
But yeah, no, it's neither here nor there. We who knows? We might end up there, but no, we looked at a couple restaurants that we hadn't been to yet, and I love it when they put the $5 signs, and it's like,
Mm-mm. Yeah, you don't need.
because that's the place that doesn't have prices on the menu, and it's like we're not going there.
It's like, oh, you have to ask. Then
Yeah.
no.
No, no, that steak that you ordered. I
May I
remember
suggest Circus?
when
Seems
Dane,
like a good time to say now. Go ahead and subscribe to Danny's Patreon because he's heading to Vegas.
Yeah, that would be very helpful. I would appreciate it. I remember when Dame signed his contract, he went to that Salt Bae Steakhouse,
Oh yeah.
and he got the gold wrap steak,
See, I just don't get it.
the tomahawk. There was like a
See, that's why you don't get
52-day dry aged
Mm-hmm.
gold wrap steak
Yeah. But why wrapped in gold? What does the gold do?
because you can.
Does the gold unlock the flavor
Yeah,
of
They-
the Salt Bae?
it's they used to use gold to treat gold dust to treat tuberculosis. So maybe he's doing preventative maintenance.
Oh, that's why I never got TB Goldschlager.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it right there.
That's why.
Real flakes of gold, everybody. How
They
many?
don't know science.
With the gold, it's $1,000.
The steak?
Yeah, without
Do
it,
you
it's like
get to keep
300.
it? Do you keep the gold? Do you keep $700 worth of gold?
Depends. Are you ready to collect a stool sample?
Oh, you eat it?
I don't know.
Man. All right. I don't understand that stuff. Salt Bae, he seems infuriating.
I would imagine so.
Like he
I'm not gonna
is.
have some dude feeding me meat.
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not opposed to that. But at the same time, he just is a world-class clout chaser.
Makes money.
That's what he does. Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you seen there's God, what's the dude's tagline there? In the United Arab Emirates, they have their own guy who he does like I don't even know. It looks like a guy who's on ecstasy at a rave, and he just waves his arm around, and then he has like he's a little person,
Mm.
and then he has some tagline at the end where it's like, "You did nothing.
Mm.
Why is this special to me? I would rather go to that guy."
Oh, you talking about the? Oh God, I know.
You know
who
what
you're
I'm
talking about.
saying?
Yes.
What is his little tagline that he has?
Bam.
No,
No,
that's
that's
Emeril
Emeril
Lagasse.
Ah,
But
who's
also Little Man.
But he kicks it up a
Yeah.
notch with his bam.
Yeah.
He's bamming for a reason.
Yeah.
He's not just sprinkling salt, with his elbow out like Salt Bae is.
No, and he's not even using pink Himalayan salt, which is a finishing salt. Stop cooking with it, you weirdos. It's not for cooking.
Okay. I won't.
Yeah, there you go.
I won't. I'm out. I'm out on that. Just
people-
finish it.
People see pink Himalayan salt and they're like, "Ooh, that's fancy." It's like, no, it's not. Weirdos.
It's salt.
Yeah, it's salt.
I like salt. Probably gonna get the gout.
Mm.
It's
a good way to go.
I like salt a
I
lot.
mean, if you're gonna go away, although I've seen people with gout and that seems horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't seem fun.
That's like, what is it, like crystallized underneath your skin kind of a deal?
I don't know.
Think that's what it is?
I don't know. I know that my dad thought he had gout,
Mm.
but he didn't go to a doctor.
Turns out it was just gas.
No, he had a broken foot for 2 years.
Oh God. Same thing. Sames.
Yeah, yeah. He not gout. He's like, my foot swells up every now and then, and it hurts, and all of a sudden, it really bothers me, and it's like, okay, well, did you go to a doctor? No. I think I got the gout, and it's not gout, it's the gout. Thinks you get the gout. Nope. Turns out broken foot, 2 years. So good news is doesn't have gout. Bad news is he was hobbling around for far too long on a broken foot. That's what happens when you don't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know.
Just chop it off. Call it good.
Yeah.
Who needs a foot?
I mean, I think a lot of people would prefer to have feet, you know? But whatever. To each their own, I guess.
What if it's gouty?
No, I think you want to keep that. I think you want to, even with the gout foot, I think you want to keep it. Well, I'm glad you made it in. I'm glad they didn't, cuff you and stuff you.
No, it did take me a while though. It was not a quick transaction. It took us time writing that ticket. When I was like, oh, this isn't. I'm not in and out of here quick. I'm getting the ticket.
What's the most expensive restaurant you've ever been to?
Oh God. The steakhouse in Vegas.
Steakhouse in Vegas.
Somebody with more money than God took me.
Oh, good.
And
That's a very rich man.
You
went with Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos.
Somebody who, with crazy money.
Okay.
That or there was a steakhouse in Minnesota that I went to.
Okay. But you don't know the names of them? What are the names of them?
Oh,
I want to see these.
God.
I want to know. I want to name the names here. I want to name the names.
Hold on. It's a really nice steakhouse.
I don't go to a really nice I think it was probably the Four Seasons Mexico City. They got a steakhouse there at the Four Seasons Mexico City. That's probably it for me. But I don't. No, I'm not a. You know what I will do to get a true taste of a town? If I go to a city, I want to go
the sidewalk.
to no. No.
Capitol Grill.
Capitol Grill.
That was the one in Minneapolis.
In Minneapolis. All right. The Capitol Grill. Sounds nice.
Yeah.
I like to go to the local joints. The greasy spoons, if you will, of an area. And I think you get the true taste. I don't know if fine dining is for me.
It's different.
Paying a lot for smaller portions and...
Well, the only 5-star in the state is 4 blocks from my house, Painted Lady. It's actually in a house in Newburgh.
Everything is 4 blocks from your house.
I'm not kidding.
Can you see Russia from your house?
Close.
Ooh. That's a good question, though. This is a question people were asking. Danny, everything is like... So the courthouse is the only 5-star dining in the state of Oregon?
I'm not kidding. So
I don't need to see.
There, I live there.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Everything is like 4 blocks from your house,
That's
though.
Newburgh,
That's your
though.
go-to. It's like, I live 4 blocks from there.
That's Newburgh.
Courthouse, 4 blocks. 5-star restaurant, 4 blocks.
So
We're going 4 blocks any direction.
They're on the same street. The courthouse and the Painted
Well,
Lady.
that sounds about right. That sounds about
But
right.
I think the average meal there, I think it's like $250, $300 a person. And that's without wine.
You need the wine.
Yeah.
This texture saying Eddie Merlot's Steakhouse in Pittsburgh that the Steelers eat at after their games. Seems like a good place to go. You know, but outside of like in town, like here, I don't go to like the fine dining places. Like I've been to Ringside and El Gaucho.
Ruth Chris.
I don't go to the fine dining places though.
Think about as fine as I've gotten is maybe like at Pazzo or like DeCarly, which are fine restaurants,
Very
but
nice.
I wouldn't, Yeah. I'm not a fine
Del
dining
Monaco.
kind of guy.
That was where I went.
In Vegas?
In Vegas, yeah.
Del Monaco, huh? All right. Del Monaco. Sounds expensive. Sounds very expensive.
It's where they came up with the Del Monaco steak. Have you ever had it?
Nope. I have not.
I think they have their own. I think they have their own. What do you call it? They own their own cows.
Oh, it's an Emeril Lagasse place. Look at that. Well, you did kick it up a notch.
Yeah,
Rust was right. Bam! You kicked it up a notch with old Emeril Lagasse. Let's see. What are we looking at here?
60% of the time, I'm right every time.
There you go. Sex Pain. Ooh, 20th anniversary of Anchorman coming out.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, today. 20 years ago today, Anchorman came out in theaters. And for my money, I think we all have those sweet spots, right? Anchorman might be the funniest movie I've ever seen in a movie theater.
Ooh.
I was 20. I was in college. I went with a bunch of my roommates and buddies, and we had zero. And when I say zero, I mean we had no idea what we were walking into, because we went on opening day because it was like the surface of the sun down in Ashland, and we went into that movie with zero expectations, and I had no idea. I knew the movie was about like a 70s news guy, but it was on the heels of Old School, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody, like, Will Ferrell's like, oh, Will Ferrell's in it. It's going to be awesome. That movie knocked my socks off. I have never laughed harder. I remember crying in that movie theater. Now, we were a bunch of college dudes. We were a little, sauced up heading into it, which probably helped the whole situation. But there's very few times I've cried laughing, especially in a movie theater, and that was one of them. Another one was Hangover, the original Hangover, because I walked in. I think the key to both of these is I walked into them blind. Like one of my buddies went and saw it, and he's like, "Dude, you got to go watch Hangover." We went to watch The Hangover, and that was another movie. Cried laughing because when you have no expectations of what you're watching, if somebody tells you it's the funniest movie I've ever seen, you're gonna laugh the whole time. You're expecting it, right? Yeah. But when you walk in blind, boom. Anchorman did that for me. 2004, this date.
That escalated quickly.
All those movies came out in that same period, and so many of them came out when I was overseas that I just never got to watch them in theaters. So I didn't get that experience. Like I mentioned, Dodgeball turned 20.
Okay.
What was it? Like a couple months ago we talked about it. Like Vince Vaughn came over, I want to say probably 6 weeks before it came out in theaters, and we watched it in the morale tent. Like we got an early screening of it in Afghanistan. And that was like the closest thing I got to having like that experience with any of those movies. Because they all just
cool,
oh no, Vince Vaughn was like I will always extol the virtues of Vince Vaughn because he stayed and listened to literally every single person, signed every autograph, took every picture, and by every picture I mean took every picture with somebody who had a throwaway disposable camera.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, because cell phones were number one, not really a thing that had cameras then, but also that we don't have cell phones with us when we're overseas.
Yeah, that's probably you don't have service out there.
No,
you didn't get service in Afghanistan.
No, they didn't work real well. And
that would be a hell of a thing if like you're in the middle of the desert and you get service there, but like you can't go over the coastal range and
maintain service.
Get service, you're like, what the hell?
Well, yeah, you still had to press 7 4 times to get an S back then when you were text messaging,
and they cost you 25 cents a pop.
Yeah,
you have to give hey, stop texting me. You got to stop this.
What am I made of money?
I get charged for that every time you text me. Boy, that changed the game.
Do you remember when text messaging wasn't free?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Something like,
that's literally what.
But I mean,
or like when you had to wait until after 8 o'clock to make a phone call.
You used to buy minutes.
Okay. We went in when I was in college. We had a road trip, and we went and in El Paso. We had a Saturday night in El Paso, and everybody went out to Juarez.
Jaguars.
And there was that's in El Paso, BYOB strip club in El Paso. Yeah. But there was a teammate of mine who went to Juarez, and when he was coming back across the border, they said, "You're too drunk." No. He was like, "What?" And so he went and dug a hole under the border fence and put his phone just across the border and made a call because he didn't want roaming charges.
That's incredible.
He then finished, and his call was, "Get my bag. I'll meet you guys on the bus."
Nice.
And he finished that hole. And he ended up flopping
It
down.
was that specific on the range though, huh? It picked up which side of the border he was on?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
He had no idea, but he was deathly afraid of the roaming charges.
God,
so
it's so
he went
crazy
underneath
the things we got charged for back then.
He had no, like, there was no idea, but he was like, I'm not making an international call here. Let's see if this 6 inches under this fence works for me.
Really trusting the geotagging there.
He ends up one spot left on the bus. He plops down, sand goes poof, like a plume around him. He was right next to our head coach. It was the only seat left on the bus. Head coach looks at him and goes, "You have a good night last night?" He goes, "Ugh." Puked into the brown paper sack that our breakfasts were in.
Ooh.
Fast forward to next week.
Hopefully not still in there.
Yeah. Fast forward the next week, half our team was suspended, and then the other half of the team was suspended the next year because they couldn't suspend our entire team for one game. That was
it's a good time.
Is that the final trip to Juarez?
Yeah. That would be it.
Which I don't think most people truly understand. What you guys did was not only like hilarious, but also so violently dumb in that city. Going into Juarez is not a good idea.
Yeah, no, not especially not anymore. I had a kid that I coached, and he ended up playing at UTEP, and that was like one of the first things is you do not go into Juarez.
It is
do not cross that
drug cartel controlled hellscape that you would not believe.
No. Yeah. And this texture's right. Safe to say the police were right. He was too drunk. Yep. That is very true. Very, very, very true. All right. We got a lot of movies coming in from folks. Funniest movies that you saw in theaters. Easy Money with Rodney Dangerfield was awesome in the theater. Can't say I was old enough for that.
No,
but I bet it was. Rodney Dangerfield movies were bangers back then. We got Dodgeball and Kick-Ass made me laugh so hard in the theaters. I don't know if I've ever seen Kick-Ass before.
Really?
No. What is that movie? Is that Michael Cera?
No.
Who's in that?
You're thinking of the right line. McLovin is in it.
Oh, okay.
But it's got what is it? Aaron Johnson.
Oh, the superhero movie.
Yeah. It's like a more quasi-realistic take on it, so to speak.
So is it like The Boys Before the Boys? No.
No.
Or they're not actual superheroes? It's got Nicolas Cage, Aaron Taylor Johnson.
See,
it was more like younger superheroes, but Nick Cage was he was the master Splinter, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. That's a funny movie.
It's so
graphic novel, I want to say.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Very over the top.
Yeah, I don't think I never saw that.
It's a good watch.
Okay.
Definitely not for the kids.
Oh, all right.
Kids.
I'll have to check that one out. 7.6 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's enjoyable for sure.
Yeah,
I would definitely put it up in the enjoyable category.
Oh, dude. Super Troopers. That one.
Yeah.
Super Troopers.
Bombed in the theaters.
Yeah, it was
bombed in the theaters, and then
not good.
I think it was the #1 selling DVD of all time.
I remember
the snozberries taste like snozberries.
Yeah, I remember we got that one at Blockbuster Video. And then that killed. That movie was hilarious. And then what was it? Beer. What was the
Beer Fest?
Beer Fest.
Oh
yes.
Beer
Fest.
That one was those guys.
Yeah.
Those guys were hilarious.
Yes.
I like those guys. Did they get canceled? I feel like. Well, what happened to them?
They've been doing other stuff. They got Tacoma FD, TV show.
All right,
that's them.
Okay, good, good. Don't watch that. But
Super Troopers ended up being one of the DVDs that came out with us. I think it was my second or third tour. That thing got watched 100 times. That and this is a dumb movie that was hilarious that we all in your late teens, early 20s, everyone found very hilarious. Euro Trip.
Oh yeah,
Scotty
that
doesn't
was
know.
good. Yeah, Scotty doesn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that one, and what was
you kissed your sister?
Well, see, I always thought Road Trip was the better of the two.
Yeah, Road Trip, where they stop at the diner and the line cook wipes the. Oh. I'm not even gonna go there. People are eating lunch right now.
Yeah,
I'm sorry about that. Okay. Okay. Movies that made you laugh. That's gonna be a thing today. hardest, biggest laughs you ever got in a movie theater. Let's get to that today. That's got to be a thing. We also have 2 celebrations on today's program.
Oh.
Yeah. 2 celebrations on one day. It's a big day. It's a huge day. But we also have some sports to sprinkle in.
It's a smattering.
We're hitting it.
Yeah.
We're hitting it right now.
Serious Zach Edey talk.
What there actually is today to talk about.
We're not going to do Zach Edey talk, are we? You want to talk Zach Edey?
Find a way.
Okay.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Either that or I'm going to go all in on this Spain-France soccer match.
No, you're not. You're not doing either of those things.
2-1 in the 27th minute.
Danny wants to break down Salt Lake City Summer League.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty. It was pretty good.
I want to break down Summer League from Summer League, so.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is true. I am more for. I had this realization. Actually, let's get to that next. The realization I had last night.
Ooh.
Danny and Dusty on the fan. Well, we set a new record.
Come, babe.
Way over.
So we do. We set records here.
I will allow it here because this is my first. Cody Williams looked really good for Utah in spurts last night. I'm going to like him as a player. I'm not overreacting to any Summer League game, just like Bronny James getting 4 points in his Summer League game. I'm not going to overreact. I think it's pretty weird that he sat out the next game. But don't overreact to any one game in Summer League because you never know. These guys are all so young. It was weird seeing Walker Kessler out there, though. I feel like he's good enough not to play.
Especially considering they're shopping him right now.
The other thing was Zach Edey can play in the NBA.
Yes.
And one thing about whether all of the conversations, Bronny, if he was not in that draft, it would be the center of the conversation would be around Zach Edey.
Yeah.
And everything that he was trying to fight in the pre-draft evaluation process about him not being able to move and his inability to play outside of 4 feet. You could just see the way he moves in an NBA style of play, and he's going to have a place in the NBA. He may not be like a perennial all-star, but Zach Edey 100% has the fluidity to play in the NBA. Like, you could see it last night against other. Now, again, he's not playing against any vets or anything else, and you don't want to overreact. He can play in this league, though.
Yeah, I mean, he can play in this league. The movement thing is going to be really interesting because the gravity in summer league of shooters is significantly different than what it is in the regular season.
Yep.
And whether or not he's going to have to extend outside of the paint and move and recover, that's the thing that I'm interested in seeing. He was able to mash basically everybody, 15, 14, and 4. But by 4 it was blocks. The thing is, he's 7'5".
Yeah, he's a big dude. He was dunking pregame without jumping.
Yeah, he had a foot on the ground. He was literally holding onto the rim with his toes on the ground still. He's got a 9'7" standing reach.
Crazy.
So basically, if he gets up on his tippy toes, he's able to grab the rim.
And that blew my mind when I first saw. I remember on ESPN, Duke was playing Wake Forest, and Tim Duncan. They were going through Tim Duncan's pregame routine.
Yeah, he was stretching on the rim.
And he was stretching. No, it was on the top rung of the net, and he was just had his arms up, and he was just hanging from it, stretching out his shoulders.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember being a kid going,
"Oh,
that is not supposed to happen." That man is enormous.
Yeah, I think Timmy had like a 9'4" or 9'5" standing.
And they zoomed out, and his legs were bent, and he was just hanging. I was like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
that
turns out being super
absolutely
tall and super long is helpful defensively.
Bonkers. But and Edey, he had baskets of consequence in that game too. You know, the tip into force overtime, or the basket to force overtime. Whatever. It's summer league, but Zach Edey,
He looked productive.
And John Morant was really happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the interesting thing is when Edey sets screens and he's just so big, he just eats up so much space. Like, what's that going to do for John Morant? Whether or not he's a shooter or not, him turning the corner on that kind of trailing screen is going to be interesting, to say the least.
Boom, just lumbering down the floor.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, you did it. We got summer league in.
And we got Zach Edey. Boom! Right out of the gate. Winning.
But I do think that conversation would be exhausting if it wasn't for Bronny James. So Zach Edey probably should thank Bronny James for that. You know? Like, taking a little bit of the heat off of him. Because there's always one guy that everybody wants to single out for Summer League, and this year it's Bronny. It 100% would have been Zach Edey had Bronny not been in this draft.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, I got something else for NBA related for you that I want to get your thoughts on, because Bobby Marks went to Twitter last night, and he pointed out something that I guess has been in conversations among league executives and people that cover the NBA, and you have touched on this before as well. Is the middle class of the NBA being eliminated? Next on The Fan.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on The Fan, the Mariners start the final 6-game stretch of the first half with a 2-game set at the Padres. First-time All-Star Logan Gilbert on the bump for Seattle. Adam Mazur for San Diego. 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. In the association, Pistons guard Cade Cunningham has agreed to a 5-year, $224 million max rookie extension that could be worth as much as $269 million should he earn all NBA honors next season. Copa America semifinal match coming up this evening. Argentina and Canada from East Rutherford, New Jersey. 5 o'clock on FS1. Winner gets the winner of tomorrow's match between Uruguay and Colombia. There's also a semifinal in Euro Cup underway over on Fox. Spain leading France 2-1 as we approach the 36th minute. That winner faces tomorrow's winner of the Netherlands and England. And speaking of England, Wimbledon quarterfinals results from this morning. Daniil Medvedev held off number 1 seed Jannik Sinner in 5 sets. And after dropping the first set, Carlos Alcaraz eliminated American Tommy Paul in 4 sets. On the women's side, Jasmine Paolini takes out American Emma Navarro in straight sets. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Got a smart speaker? It's The Fan in your office and every room of your home. Tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
right, something that has been kind of bandied about amongst the NBA circles as we have a bunch of free agents have all found their homes, and we've seen a lot of contract restructuring. Bobby Marks of ESPN tweeted out, there was a healthy debate this past weekend on if the middle class of the NBA has been eliminated with the new CBA. And there are two tiers, the minimum players and the max players. So he went through, now that the dust is starting to settle on contracts around the NBA. And I think it's pretty interesting because he has this year and then the previous 3 years of contracts doled out around the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the percentage of the salary cap, okay, so from 0.8% of the salary cap, which is league minimum, to 4.9%, 2% to 4.9, and then 5 to 9.9, or excuse me, 0.8 to 1.9, 2 to 4.9, 5 to 9.9. Okay, in the first two, like 0.8 to 4.9%, those are all rookie contracts, right? In league minimum guys. And that accounts for 129 out of the 259 players that signed deals this year are 2023-24 draft picks selected in the last 4 seasons of the NBA. Okay? When you look at the maximum salaries, you have alluded to this aspect of it. The new CBA is going to make it much harder for guys to get max deals. Last year, you saw between 30 and 35% or more of the cap. You had 19 guys sign those deals. The previous year, 18. The previous year, 16. This year, only 13 players got the big max deals across the NBA. But the idea that the middle class is disappearing, it may be a little bit fraudulent because guys making between $7 and $13 million this year, 99 contracts doled out in that range. Wouldn't that be classified as, the NBA's middle class, like 7 to 13 million?
I guess that feels like lower middle class to me, but sure, I guess you could pull it in the middle class.
Previous years were 66, 78, and 77. They're at 99 this year. Everything else has stayed pretty stagnant. If you want to go up in the middle class, would you say like, I don't know.
I would say that the taxpayer mid-level, which is about, I believe, 13 right now, or excuse me, the non-taxpayer mid-level to 30.
To $30 million?
That's, and I'm talking about your non-max guys.
Yeah.
So the Anthony Simons, Jeremy Grants, with the bottom of that being like Robert Williams, those guys to me are more the middle class.
Okay, and then that would account for 96 players this year of the 259. 96 would have fit in that range that you're talking about. So 14 to whatever $30 million is what you're saying. In previous years, it's right around that same number. So
how many of them are new though?
Are we seeing what do you mean?
How many of those are new contracts signed this year? That's where you're seeing that good. It's there right now, and what's interesting is the change isn't necessarily just with the money; it's the years. Because like Tobias Harris,
there it is, right there.
Tobias Harris got $50 million, $25 million a year, but it was 2 years. James Harden got $70 million, but it's a 2-year, $35 million deal. And a lot of these have options, and a lot of them have non-guaranteed money. Jonathan Isaac got 5 years, $94 million. The final 2 years are non-guaranteed, with the third year having a partial guaranteed. Only 2 years are fully guaranteed. That is a wide receiver contract.
Are we seeing though that, well, it's a wide receiver contract, but 53 to 15 is a big difference. The NBA pay is bananas.
Yes.
Teach your kid to be 7 foot and shoot. Okay.
Again,
can you do that?
Here's the thing. Still holds true. If you are 7 foot tall, you have a nearly 18% chance. If you are 7 foot tall and a man, you have a nearly 18% chance of getting an opportunity in the NBA.
Really?
Yes. Statistically alone, you have a basically 1 in 5 chance of getting an opportunity in the NBA.
That's pretty
by
good.
Just being 7 foot tall.
Well, yeah.
Because there's so few of them.
There's not a lot of people.
No.
In.
But if you are, there you go.
Do you think that we are going to see this happen, or do we think the league is going to adapt and we'll see less max deals and more of the, you know, I guess what the middle class would be considered then, because of teams having the fear of putting too much money and what that will do to you because of the punitive measures in the CBA, with the second apron being something that they essentially, you don't want to be in that territory because of the fact that you'll lose draft picks. You'll be penalized financially more than you ever have before. And then there's on the court stuff, not just the financials of it, because Golden State, we saw, just said, deuces, we don't care.
Which is
we'll
something
pay it.
The Clippers were doing too. And this was it was a punitive tax put on the Clippers and the Warriors, but it was also the NBA, the owners coming together and beating CJ McCollum and his representatives into a bloody pulp. Over basically getting an instituted hard cap. And I think they're going to open the CBA back up when the option becomes available to them, because this is probably more punitive than they wanted, because there's got to be some wiggle room, because the aggregation of salaries at the apron, like not being able to swap 2 for 1, or like that's something that they're like, oh, this is maybe worse than we thought it was going to be. And that has been a feeling. I saw one of the Heat media members said that there's only one guy in the entire NBA who understands the ramifications of the new CBA. It's Andy Ellsberg, and it's like, that's funny, because I'm watching the Heat lose players left, right, and center because of their inability to understand the CBA right now. It takes about a full year and a cycle for general managers and their staffs to fully understand the ramifications of every little bit of language. We've already seen something, and it's not a huge deal, in the New York Knicks deal for Mikal Bridges. They had to include somebody else in that deal because of they had to submit to the league's lawyers, a point of clarification.
Yeah.
And this is super nerdy, and it's like, oh my God, but this is what happens when you get a new CBA. The way it's written, where the commas are, all that kind of stuff. Like we have the same kind of thing with when we're talking about like the Bill of Rights and amendments and stuff like that, like where commas are matter. And so they had to get a point of clarification to get an understanding, and they had to end up having to include another player because of how a player's contract was determined to be a minimum salary contract, even though it wasn't technically a minimum salary contract. So this is how stupid the CBA can get. Yeah, it'll just put you to sleep very quickly. But those are the kind of things on a micro level all the way up to a macro level that affect how this stuff is going to go going forward. Guys like Zach LaVine, guys like Brandon Ingram, they are not getting max deals. They're not.
No.
They're just not. Those are gone. The guys where you're like, you got to hold your nose. You don't have to hold your nose anymore, because what's going to end up happening is they might get a max slot for a year or two. They're no longer getting 4 or 5 year max deals if you're not a max player. With the exception being your own homegrown talent, like a Franz Wagner.
Doesn't that benefit the players, though, in that you'll get to your next contract quicker, which is what they want to get to?
Yes and no, because you need years of service. In order to get the full Supermax, you need 9 years of service. To get the full Well,
I mean, you're not going from being a potential max player to out of the league, though.
No, but I mean, in order to get the full maximized earning rights, you need to have an all NBA selection and have 9 years of service. That's where you get the unfettered, holy crap, 35% tied to the cap supermax. The fun max, which is your rookie max extension, is 25%. What in the agents that I've talked to is that the fight that they say that they have now is not money, because they're getting told no. It's years. And so they might front load it, and they might figure it out that way, which is what you've seen a couple of teams already start doing. You're basically floating money, like Isaiah Hartenstein's deal. It was like, well, he got $26 million a year for the Thunder. It's a great deal. The Thunder gave him a 3-year deal with the 3rd year non-guaranteed. It's a team option. So they gave him $50 million up front, basically, and they said, well, when that happens, Chet's contract's coming up. Shea's going into his supermax. J-Dub's going into his contract. So that way they basically have a $25 million get out of jail free card. Now they'd have to go find another player to replace him, and that's going to become seriously problematic for teams that have 3 max or near max contracts.
Not when you have 30 draft picks.
But that's your way out of it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting, and that's why when I'm down in Las Vegas, I'm really interested to see what transactions happen, because it does sound like a few trades are going to happen when everybody kind of gets in rooms together. Financially, the ramifications of that. I'm obviously I'm most interested in the basketball that happens, but the business of basketball is very interesting under a new CBA for sure.
All right, 503-864-6326. That's a Vancouver Ford text line. You can also chime in on the YouTube chat, youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan. There is a question that came through, and it is trade related. And I want to get that because it pertains to the hometown team. It's something that we've seen quite a few times. Danny and Dusty on The Fan.
Bill.
All right, we had a question coming on the Vancouver Ford text line. I've seen this pop up a few times in a few places. The momentum has seemed to slow to a halt, but in conversations between the Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers. But this question says, do you think there's anything Joe Cronin would take instead of 2 firsts for Jeremy Grant? Maybe 20-25 second, pick swaps, Austin Reeves, etc.?
No, because Austin Reeves isn't available. Number 2, pick swaps don't do them any good. Number 3, the Blazers have 3 guards right now that they need to prioritize.
Yeah. It is 2 firsts or pound sand.
Yeah, that's
Lakers.
basically what it seems like. Cleveland is a team that maybe I could see them taking 1 first from in a aggregated deal. It would be a sign and trade with Okoro, Karis LeVert, and Cleveland's 2031 first. It's basically the only first they have left.
And there's also an issue at play here with, in this texture isn't alluding to this, but there's other people that are out there saying, hey, well, why don't they take 2 players for 1 in some of these deals? Second apron doesn't allow teams to, and LeBron taking that $3 million haircut on his salary avoided the second apron.
By $45,000.
The Lakers can trade 2 players out for 1 coming in, but for those teams that are in the second apron, they don't have the ability to do that anymore.
No,
you can't go 2 for 1.
No, they can't aggregate players, and the Lakers can do that technically, and this move would put them into the second apron.
But there aren't 2 players that the Blazers would want.
No, I mean the one player that you're looking at really there is Rui Hachimura, and even then it's like Rui's entirely fine.
Entirely fine. That's an entirely fine deal that the
He's
Blazers
a
would make.
stopgap power forward. You're like, okay, I can work with that.
Yeah, I would say right now, as it pertains to Portland, we're just kind of in a wait and see game, and it doesn't feel as if there's any rush for the Blazers to make any move right now because why would you wait till other teams become desperate because Portland isn't right now? Because as of right now, nobody's requesting a trade out of town. This is totally different than the Damian Lillard thing last summer, where Dame asked for a trade. He wanted out. Now, this could change if any of these guys do come to the table and tell Joe Cronin and the Blazers brass, like, hey, I want out. I want to be moved. But as of right now, it's quiet on that front.
Yeah, and asking around and talking to folks, I don't think Jeremy Grant is pushing any buttons yet. That day could come where he looks at it and says, I want to go to a place where things are being more competitive, but that day isn't here yet.
Not quite.
It's not here yet.
Well, do we see it coming? What is your gut feeling on it? Like, I know
feel like
you're
they
talking.
yeah. I mean, the trades are always more unlikely to occur than they are likely. For those, everybody wants to know trade.
Mm-mm.
They're just there's nothing to spur that action right now. Like LeBron James, if you've seen him in his interviews, he got his contract. His kid got paid, got guaranteed money. He's playing for Team USA right now. He's not out there saying, no, the Lakers, we're going to do our best and compete for titles. No, like he's like, we'll go out there, we'll do our best. Like he's not putting his thumb on the scale. So if he's not putting his thumb on the scale, that makes me feel like that Pelinka is not feeling that pressure.
Oh, for those that don't know, too, by the way, second apron is in the luxury tax. It's the hard cap of the NBA.
Essentially, yes.
Where you can't go over. There's the first apron, which still allows you some malleability, and you're in the luxury tax, but it's not the highest. The second apron is the highest that you can go, and it is very punitive this year, where you can lose if you're in the second apron for multiple years. You lose draft picks, and you don't lose them. You get shoved down to the very bottom of the draft, no matter where you are, and you also will have financially. It becomes. It's not worthwhile to be at the hard cap for more than 1 year in the current NBA. So there you go. That's what the second apron is. It's the highest of the luxury tax, and teams are trying to avoid it like the plague. But I still think there's four? Are there 4 teams that are in the second apron right now?
No, there's more than that.
There is?
Yeah, there's more than that. Bobby Marks had it up the other day. But there's a ton in the first, and I think there's 6 or 7 in the second apron.
Yikes. That's not good at all.
No.
But Blazers don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about being in that second apron right now because it is way far out there for the hometown team. All right, hour number 1 is in the books. Hour number 2, we will have our worst day on the web. We've got a lot of fun with audio that we can play, including have we all gotten duped? That coming up in hour number 2. But where we want to start off the second hour of the radio program. You posed a question yesterday, and I have really not stopped thinking about it because I want to see this team at the bottom next on the Fan. Hour number 2, Danny and Dusty with you here on this Tuesday afternoon. Autotown GMC presents the 10th annual Fan Golf Classic, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Deadline for the last couple available foursomes for the morning round of the Fan Golf Classic. Midnight.
Hey-o.
Midnight, which means that you have got very little time. Very little time. You got 10 hours and 58 minutes if you're going to get your foursomes in. There are very limited spots available. It is your last chance to sign up with your friends, coworkers, clients, whomever, to play with the Fan. We'll have lots of great prizes, contests, raffles all over the course. Beverages aplenty. Victorico's has breakfast burritos and lunch burritos. Matt's Barbecue is going to be there with their award-winning barbecue. We'll be out there all day long. Shows will not be on the air. We're going to be on the course. We're roaming around. For more info and to get your foursome signed up, go to 1080thefan.com. Okay? Okay? Now, have you seen, we've got we know when we are going to be at the 6th hole.
Oh, did the email come out?
Yep.
Oh.
We will be on the 6th hole at 7:15 to 9 a.m. And then we will be back out there at 4 to 6:30, you and I.
That's early.
Well, yeah. The first round goes off at 7 a.m.
Oh no, I'm thinking it's a good time to have some drinks.
That is, you're not gonna be around for the 4 to 6:30. I have a feeling.
Oh no, I'll be there in body.
I don't.
Just be napping in the bunker.
I don't. We've already been through this.
Right. Who's the 6th hole brought to us by?
Dewars.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Dewars 6th hole is gonna be out there. So come on out. Let's have a great time out there. All right, shall we? Shall we? Go sign up now. 1080thefan.com. You brought something up yesterday, and it has been eating away at me because I don't know what to think of this. You asked the question, who's the best team in the state of California in the NBA next year?
Right.
And it's a really hard question because the Warriors are not going to be the championship contending Warriors. The Lakers have the potential to, but they seem like they're still a long ways off. The Clippers are oft injured, and they lost Paul George this year, which I don't know if you know this, but that's going to be a kick in the giblets for them. And then you have the Sacramento Kings, which they got bolstered their roster with DeMar DeRozan, but it's still a prove it in a lot of people's eyes with the Sacramento Kings, even though I really like them. And my gut is telling me they are probably the best team in the state of California next year. It's a weird thing when you look at the state of the NBA in California.
The state of California is good, but not great. I've seen some people say, well, the Warriors got better. Addition by subtraction. Clay is the shell of what he used to be. And I'm like, did you watch Buddy Hield play for the Bahamas?
Yeah.
He can be incredibly destructive.
I think a lot of people said no to
a
that
lot of people did.
Yeah.
A lot of people like basketball. It's true. But
where was the Bahamas Olympic qualifier televised?
Online.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. There we go.
There you go.
I know a lot of people do like basketball. I love basketball, but I don't think very many people were seeking out on the 4th of July weekend the Bahamas,
the FIBA stream
qualifying for the Olympics,
1981.com,
which they did not do, by the way.
No, they didn't. They came really close.
Yeah.
They'll be fun. They'll be fun to watch the next cycle for sure. But no, you take a look at the Warriors, and they add the Anthony Melton, which I think is a good addition. But I mean, how many real moves did they make? And I'm just like,
all right, let me ask you this: what's the worst team in the state of California?
Probably the Lakers. Probably
with Anthony
Lakers
Davis
and
LeBron and Bronny and Austin Reeves.
Yeah, okay.
Who has like the 4th best odds to win the celebrity golf tournament in Lake Tahoe? So he's got that going for him.
Bronny does?
No, Austin Reeves.
Oh, Austin Reeves. I was like,
not Bronny.
Also Steph Curry laid that to rest the other day. Apparently Austin Reeves was telling folks that he was the best golfer in the NBA, and Steph was like, no. Steph is a
I think they're just setting up the match.
Yeah, but I mean, Steph is a literal scratch golfer. So I believe Austin's a 2, if I remember right, handicap.
I don't know.
Which, again, I will never, ever, ever be anywhere near those numbers. But there's a pretty sizable gap between those two. Scratch and 2.
2.2.
Yeah, there you
He's
go.
a 2.2.
So clearly logging his handicap. So he's out there on the links plenty. But Lakers be fine. Like, I started doing this in my head the other day, mostly as it pertained to the Blazers. Will the Blazers be the worst team in the Western Conference? Probably. It's between them and Utah. And for all of the people like, well, I don't know, man, the Spurs will be pretty bad. Every lineup last year that had Victor Wembanyama at the center was a positive lineup. And when they put a mildly functional player, i.e. Trey Jones, on the floor with Victor Wembanyama, every lineup combination with those two on the floor, I think it was like a +4. With just those two. Mild level of functionality. And now you're going to have Chris Paul running the offense, and you've got Harrison Barnes.
Well, I mean, every other team that was ahead of Portland in the West
is going to stay ahead.
They got better. I mean,
yeah.
You just mentioned San Antonio, especially going and get Chris Paul. And then also you got Stephon Castle, who he's going to have time and room to grow behind Chris Paul as well.
And alongside of, yes.
Somebody that can dribble, somebody that can run the offense, that was an absolute disaster for San Antonio last
year. So the first 3 months of the season, they let Jeremy Sohan play point forward. And it's a fun little experiment, but that's what happens.
Well, baby Robin. Memphis was the third best
That's
record.
The team.
They get Ja Morant back.
They got everyone injured last year.
Everybody was injured, and then
only team outside of Portland that had more injuries.
It was, do they have a big?
They do now.
They do now. That is functional.
Yeah.
And
that's what
functional.
They need.
Utah is not going to be great.
No,
they're going to be the second worst.
They're the one. They're the team that are going to be right there with Portland.
And then Houston. They played far better at the end of the year. They were 41-41 last year, for God's sakes. They were a 500 team. And they are not going to regress all the way back to the 21-win Portland Trailblazers.
No, they're not.
Yeah, Blazers are going to be the worst team in the West.
No, there's a real chance that the Lakers don't make the playoffs. Like, one of the Lakers or Warriors with the legacy players of Steph and LeBron, there's a good chance that one of them does not make the play-in. Remember, they're both in it. They're both in the play-in. There's a good chance now that one of them doesn't even make that. And you look at the West, as tough as it is, Denver fell off, even though you've got some Denver writers saying, it's like, well, KCP was kind of washed. It's like, buddy, Christian Brown is not him. Good luck.
He was for a series last year.
Yeah, and then
not this past year.
No,
the year before.
His rookie year, when he was like, when the ask was do very little and don't screw up.
He did that.
Not guard Anthony Edwards. But you've got the Timberwolves who are going to be right there. You've got the Mavs who are going to be right there. The Thunder who are going to be right there. Like, you start looking into the West and you're like, ugh, those California teams, like, they're not competitive. And like the Kings are, I think, the most competitive in that group pretty clearly.
I agree.
And the rest is like, they're playing spoiler. They're not actual competitors. When was the last time we thought the Lakers, Warriors, and Clippers were the plucky, if things go right, maybe they can make a play-in?
I mean,
think about that.
Donald Sterling was the owner.
But even then, like, Lob City Clippers were good.
Yeah. Well, no, I would say
the old Clippers?
Just before that, when you had the gap of Lakers dominance. But then that was the rise of the Lob City and the rise of Golden State. Yeah, I mean, I can't. It's been a really long time. It's been a really long time. Because if you want to go back to any time that you'd have to go back to a time where the Lakers are truly struggling and spinning their wheels in the mud. And at that time is when you had Lob City, or when you had Warriors ascension, the post Kobe for the Lakers, where it was like, they're not a championship team, right? I mean, what are we doing here? But after that, no, you've had at least one of those four teams be more than relevant in the NBA, which makes for a really exciting Western Conference when you're looking at the NBA is probably cringing at it, because Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Dallas are the teams that you're going to be banking on to make those to kind of carry the Western Conference next year, in Denver as well. I mean, yeah, you want to throw, even though they do take a step back, Denver's going to be in that conversation because is it going to be Phoenix? Is it going to,
When you
because
start
think about it, is it
when
going
you
to be
start
Phoenix?
tiering the West, I don't think Denver's up there anymore. I don't think Denver's in the top tier anymore.
Huh. I mean, they have the best player in the world.
They do, which puts them there. But you lose KCP, you lose Bruce Bound, and you haven't brought anybody else in. And I don't know if you noticed this. Remember Shams Charania on draft night saying Jamal Murray's contract is being signed?
Yeah, they said that they're going to hold off until after the Olympics for Jamal Murray.
Yeah, you know why? Because they're worried about his knee.
Yeah.
If he goes out there and shreds his knee, the one that he's already had repaired,
Well,
just
not good
shows you
thought.
like how dicey things are there.
Yeah.
Because
Interesting.
there's a difference between the two of them.
All right, rank them then. Rank the four. Rank the four in California.
I think in California you're going Kings, Warriors. I think the Clippers make more sense than the Lakers.
If Kawhi can stay healthy.
And that's the big if. Whereas LeBron, despite his age and despite everything else, is still playing 70 games a year.
Mhm.
So I'd probably go Lakers than Clippers. But if you told me that the Clippers ended up better than the Lakers, it wouldn't surprise me because they make more sense. Like their roster construction makes more sense.
Wow.
Even losing Paul George.
Times are down.
Yeah.
Times are
It's
down.
weird.
I agree with that.
It's weird
too.
for California to be in that position.
Oh, man.
And when you start looking at the West, like that, if you're just slotting them like that, you take the Kings out of that group and you put them probably in the second tier. The top four, Minnesota, OKC, Dallas. I think those are the
Top three.
The top three. That's the clear class of the West. That next group is probably Denver, Sacramento. And then the rest of the California teams in Phoenix.
Where's New Orleans?
And
fit into
that's
anything?
what do they do with Ingram?
Yeah.
And who do they get to be their center? And that's kind of like which are they in that middle tier or are they in that next group?
Wow.
But essentially what you're saying is if you take the Kings out of all that, they basically, those other California teams are your 6 through 10 with no changes. That's with Houston not coming up. That's with San Antonio not coming up. And I think there's a real possibility that both those teams make steps forward.
Wow. Here's another question. Which team for California wins the next championship? MLB, NFL, NBA? Oh, wow. Dodgers.
Yeah, baseball, pretty handily.
You go Dodgers, and then you go
Oh, also Grizzlies.
Niners.
Grizzlies in that group. I think I would put the Grizzlies ahead of the Nuggets. I didn't think I would.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Just hit by health alone.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that team when it's healthy. Because you didn't have Jaw, you didn't have Bane, and you didn't have Jaren.
Just wait till Jaw gets his ass suspended again.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, that's always the thing that's kind of out there and in the world as it
It's
were.
more touch and go than a Kawhi injury.
Yeah, but I mean, when healthy and on the floor, I think people tend to forget because Ja basically didn't play for 2 years. That is an MVP caliber player.
Is Derrick Rose still on the Memphis Grizzlies?
I don't think he might still be on the roster.
Golly. Here are your players that were out
Looks that
for
way.
Memphis at the end of the year. Ja suspension. Marcus Smart, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson Jr., Derrick Rose. John Conchar, Vince Williams Jr., and Brandon Clark. And Zaire Williams.
They might take a step back this year after losing Dylan Brooks.
Oh my gosh. He wasn't on the
Last
team
year.
last year, Bob.
Well, whatever. Take another big step back, damn it.
But Brandon Clark's back from his from his injury. You'll have Gigi Jackson in year 2, and he was an absolute stud down the stretch. You've got real depth and top end talent with that Memphis team. People are not talking about them, I think, enough.
Okay. Hey, we got fun with audio. Did we all get duped? Next on The Fan. right, got some college football news and some notesies here.
Go on.
Big 12 is having their media days. They are Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commish. He's doing a really good job of making the Big 12 relevant. I mean, he went all in on becoming a basketball power. But here's something that everybody went, oh. During his comments, he said, there's a lot going on Saturdays. The questions are there new TV windows that we can explore? To highlight our teams differently, we have to kick the tires and figure out other TV windows that make sense for us. He championed them being the third best conference in college sports right now, behind the Big Ten and the SEC, obviously.
Okay.
So third out of four.
Brett Yormark is playing the Larry Scott card right now. This is going to lead to Pac-12 After Dark, but it's the Big 12. This is going to lead to
weird
Thursday night Big 12 football.
Action.
I mean, I don't know if we'll see Tuesday or Wednesday, but Thursdays, more Friday night games. This is 2AT saying we are the third of the power conferences, because that's where the Pac-12 was in its existence, right? At the very beginning, it was how do we differentiate ourselves from the Big 12 and the ACC, who are the other Power 5 conferences? Where can we get a piece of the pie? And it turned out it was 7:30 at night and on Fridays and Thursdays.
This is going to probably sound like, oh, you're taking this too far. But I think there has been this change, and this is something I've been talking about in general with some other USC friends over the last couple months. I think there's this constant need to iterate in everything instead of realizing that sometimes not changing is the good thing. The SEC and the Big Ten said, we're not going to change who we are. You can come be a part of us. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that same thing holds true where a school like USC is trying to do kind of the same thing where, like Alabama, they've refused to change their logo or change their jerseys. They're holding on to the past. But even Georgia has gone and been like, well, we'll throw an alternate in there. We'll have a little bit of fun. Michigan has thrown an alternate in there. There's been Notre Dame has thrown an alternate in there. And I think there's these little tiny things that you sprinkle in of trying to find this spot. And I think and I know people are going, what the hell is he talking about? What I'm saying is sometimes going wholesale change is problematic because you devalue kind of what you are. And I understand you're trying to capitalize on this and capitalize on this. This is a lot in the same sense of 2010 to 2014, pivoting to video, where you just watched media company after media company crash because that's not what was actually real. Taking your conference and going, we're going to be the Thursday night football conference. That doesn't help anyone.
No,
that doesn't do you any good.
Well, and even so,
it does do you good in that they need windows for television for the major networks, and they'll pay you money for it.
But you're also,
and that's how you stay. You're not staying relevant in the eyes of everybody else with people, but you are staying relevant financially. And
this is the same thing where I can't even say this. Carmelo Anthony made a really great point on a podcast last week when he was I wish I could give credit. He mentioned the idea of going to the bench and why it was so hard for him and so hard for so many others. Because once you take that discount, it might have been with Kevin Garnett, but once you take that discount once you take the cut for the team, or you move to the bench, or you take a little bit less, the next time your contract negotiation comes up with, they go, you're not that player anymore. You're the bench guy. You're the guy who takes less. And that's the same thing. When you look at these conferences, when you take less, you become the guy that takes less.
See, but if they are looking for these different TV windows, is Big 12 After Dark or a 7 or 7:30 kick on Thursday or Friday night, which, let's face it, would wind up being 8 or 8:30 local time for Arizona State or Utah or Colorado. If they truly are looking for those for that extra window, wouldn't it perhaps behoove them to try to reach out to an Oregon State and a Washington State?
Yep.
And because if you get to a 7:30 kick in Corvallis or in Pullman on a Thursday or Friday night, that's where weird things happen, man.
No, you're not wrong.
And I've noted that the Big 12 has partnered with Microsoft to be the official tablet supplier of the conference. So they're going up into the Pacific Northwest for business dealings. So ride that train. Elsewhere out of the Big 12 Media Days, what do you do when your running back who accounted for 1,700 yards and 21 touchdowns gets arrested on suspicion of DUI? That is what Mike Gundy, the head coach of Oklahoma State and AON's favorite college football coach.
OAN.
OAN, sorry.
Yes.
Not
Yeah,
I
get
say
your
AON.
right-wing networks right.
OAN. Their favorite football coach, Mike Gundy.
You're confusing it with QAnon.
That's right. He was faced with that because of the fact that Ollie Gordon, the best returning running back in some eyes in all of college football, he was arrested last month for that.
Running backs and DUIs, not been a little bit of a problem.
But he is not going to suspend Ollie Gordon. Would you like to hear his reasoning why?
Go on.
Oh, blame NIL. Blame NIL, okay? Mike Gundy said because of collectives, these guys are playing college football. They're employees, whether you like it or not. There's large sums of money involved. That's the way it's going to be moving forward. I made a decision. I felt like he really understood how serious this was. Just like bringing him out here, he needed to come out here and face the music. So there's no reason to put him in hiding. No suspension for Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, that
Also,
was also
I like winning.
That was also his rationale for continuing to bring him to Big 12 Media Day.
Yeah.
He's like, we're not going to.
That's why he said we're bringing him here.
Yeah.
Mike Gundy.
Wasn't Ollie Gordon the one that went up and said that they're the real Oklahoma?
Oh, I don't know.
I think he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow, that's an aggressive
stance
right there. But blame NIL. I'm glad Mike Gundy brought that one out. We're not going to suspend him. Blame NIL.
Did Oklahoma State win Bedlam?
He's
sure.
I don't know. I don't keep up on Bedlam all that much. But Mike Gundy pulling the NIL card, kudos to him. That's why we're not going to hold him accountable. Another little nugget. This will be coming to us formerly of the Big 12. I believe we all got duped, Danny.
Go on.
Today, Eli Manning, with his nephew Arch, released this video of Texas backup quarterback Arch Manning.
All right, here we go. Let's go gun far, Simon right nasty, Z Riz, F Whirly Bird, Alert Scarecrow. All right, use a little cadence here. All right, you ready?
Are you sure about this?
Absolutely. I mean, this is the best way to focus on football, all right? So get your eyes on the safety, be vocal out there.
Yes, Coach. I mean, Uncle E.
It's better.
Green 18! Green 18! Omaha? So, hey!
Ready. All right, there he is. Now!
Boom!
Touchdown! Now that's why you're in the game.
EA Sports. I'm in the game.
Whew. We could have just run 4 verts.
Arch Manning is
no way. He's in the EA Sports College Football. No, oh my God.
And
I'm shocked.
Put out a commercial.
Yeah, because he got paid.
Bingo.
Which is what we
remember
Arch doesn't need the money. Arch doesn't need the money.
Arch played the long con on this. He got an endorsement deal in order to be in EA Sports. The backup quarterback at the University of Texas.
Those Mannings aren't dummies, dude.
They are very smart. They are very smart. And
I know I don't like Arch?
Why?
His Twitter account's not following anyone. The people with 0 followers are masochists.
Jay Billis?
They're weird.
But Jay Billis, I believe, follows one person now? I think Jay Billis follows...
Doesn't he follow like a little Wheezy?
A person. I don't know who he follows.
Oh, no, the Final Four is not on the schedule.
Following one person.
Yeah.
The Final Four is not on the schedule.
Huh.
I don't know what that is.
The #1 MSU Hoops podcast for the serious and casual fan.
That's a weird follow for Jay Billis.
It is.
Yeah, so Arch doesn't follow anybody.
No, the 0 follower people always weird me out.
He just leaves it to the algorithm.
Yeah.
To get on there.
Super weird.
How much KFC just follows 11 herbs and spices.
Yeah, that is fantastic, though.
Great.
And they should. Yeah. And didn't they give the guy who figued that out lifetime KFC?
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, you guys follow nothing but guys named Herb and the Spice Girls. Like, what are we doing here? And they're like, hey, you figured it out. Lifetime KFC. KFC's doing it right.
Yeah. They were an early adopter of the brand ambassadorship.
Does he get a copy of the original recipe?
Ooh.
What? No way. No.
I think there's only like
murdered
2
for that.
people alive that know that.
Is it what's a more protected recipe? The KFC original recipe or the what's the beans?
Well, or Coca-Cola.
Bush's Coca-Cola.
Bush. No, but
Bush
beans.
baked beans.
The dog always trying to sell the recipe. Did you remember those
Coca-Cola, I'm not
commercials?
sure even like one person knows it. It's like locked in a safe or something somewhere.
Well, how do they continue to make it? I mean, people have got to know.
It's all, like
Program.
assembly line and
Computers.
Yeah.
It's computers.
blindfolds and stuff. And, you take this beaker and mix it with this one.
I
Yeah.
don't know what happened to our It's Computers drop. You got to find the It's Computers drop. It's computers. All right, so you're going not a single person knows. Could we hack into Coca-Cola then?
It's computers.
Could Coca-Cola be hacked into and its recipe unveiled to the world?
I'm sure.
I think it's a hard copy.
What about Dr. Pepper?
Do you remember the old
Do we
wives'
know
tale
the
that it was
23
made-
flavors in Dr. Pepper?
that it was made with antifreeze?
Wouldn't
Did
you
you ever
like
have
to
that
be
when
a
you were a
pepper
kid?
too?
No, I thought that was Fireball.
Tastes
No,
like antifreeze.
there's an ingredient in like your frescas and such that is also an ingredient in like antifreeze, but it's clearly in much smaller quantities.
Yeah, but
I forget what it's called. It's some like three letter initial.
Is it the one that makes you go,
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the one. Yeah, Mountain Dew has a lot more of it.
when's the last time
has the dye that makes your balls small?
When's the last time you guys had Mountain Dew? Yeah, yellow number 5?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
When's the last time you had a Mountain Dew?
Years.
Regular
I've never been a Mountain Dew guy.
no BS like straight Mountain Dew.
Or any Mountain Dew?
I think I had a diet Mountain Dew last summer.
I think maybe I did a couple years ago. They had some like strawberry lemonade flavor or
Last
something.
Summer. That's crazy. Last summer you had a real Mountain Dew?
No, diet Mountain Dew.
Downton Mountain. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. A Diet Mountain Dew?
No, I mean, dude, there's so much sugar in that. Like, I'm not something like talking about the fat guy being health conscious. I just don't like drinking things that are that sugary.
No, it gives me stomachache.
It's
But
so
It's
heavy.
pretty sweet.
I think, I was doing the math on it. It's probably been like 15 years-ish. More than
It had
15
been a very
years.
long time for me since I had one.
It's a young man's game, that
Yes.
Mountain Dew.
Or an incel.
Wow.
Tell me more.
That's what I hear.
I think the one that I had, it was like a diet like flavored Mountain Dew. Like it was a new flavor.
Yeah, like I said, they had like some. I think it was
Well, like-
strawberry watermelon or something, or strawberry lemonade, something like that. My kid found.
Yeah.
And yeah, I tried it. It wasn't
And
terrible. for a
I'm
Mountain
almost
Dew,
certain
but-
somebody brought it to my house.
Oh, and just left it in the
Yeah,
refrigerator.
and I was like, screw it, it's a
Yeah.
diet. I'll drink it because I wanted some caffeine. Look, I have my limits on sugar, but caffeine, the more of it in a can, the better.
wow. I just finished a bottle of Baja Blast, that from P1 Orange Joe guy.
Yeah, he's young.
He is young.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I think you can buy Baja Blast in the
Taco Bell?
bottle. Well, I
Oh, yeah.
thought it was exclusive to Taco Bell.
No, they've
brought it back.
They've started selling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, hey, now you know. Now you know. Okay.
And apparently, also the Baja Blast Freeze at the Taco Bell does not have caffeine.
Oh, the icy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Which, I mean,
I asked that once because my kid wanted one. I was like, "Is she going to be up until Thursday?"
I didn't know in case you had like it was on like maybe one of your 27
Apps.
restaurant apps that you have.
Taco Bell is one of them.
Is it really?
Yeah.
God.
is their app better than McDonald's?
Yes.
Wow. McDonald's app's pretty good.
No, because then
neither.
if you put in your customizations in the McDonald's app at the wrong time, then it like cancels out your thing, and you got to start all over again on that part of the order, and it's just yeah.
What's the best food app out there?
Chipotle's is pretty damn easy.
Yeah, but you're getting skimped on it.
Yeah,
we
it's
we
true.
found that
Well,
out.
especially on the to-go. Yeah.
You're
So
not
that's
gonna
not
get
worth it.
Yeah, that is not a good app
how
there.
many-
Panda Express is pretty easy.
I only have like 3 on my phone right now, so
Yeah.
And then 2 of them are reservations.
Yeah, I don't know if I
Panda Express is a pretty good one.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. I'll take
Subway's
your word
pretty
for it.
easy. Jimmy John's. Or not
Okay.
Jimmy John's, I'm sorry, Jersey Mike's.
Okay.
Jersey Mike's.
You're getting your sub shops mixed up there,
Yeah,
buddy.
yeah.
All right. Well, there we go. What are you doing over there?
My wife is texting me during the show, which is usually an emergency. So,
Okay.
yeah, sorry. Coming up next, our worst day on the web. Look, politicians in New York, they never get any better. But first, he's the big Kuno Sports Center update.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
Jeff Rust here with your Sports Center update. First on the Fan, the Mariners start the final 6-game stretch of the first half of the season with a 2-game set at the Padres. First-time All-Star Logan Gilbert on the hill for Seattle, opposite Adam Mazer for San Diego. 6:40 first pitch on Root Sports. Pistons guard Cade Cunningham has agreed to a 5-year, $224 million max rookie extension that could be worth as much as $269 million should he earn all NBA honors next season. Over in the world of soccer, Copa America semifinal match this evening, Argentina and Canada from East Rutherford, New Jersey, 5 o'clock on FS1. The winner gets the winner of tomorrow's match between Uruguay and Colombia. Another semifinal, but in Euro Cup, underway over on Fox. It's the 78th minute, and Spain still with a 2-1 lead over France. Wimbledon quarterfinals results from this morning. Daniil Medvedev held off number 1 seed Yannick Sinner in 5 sets, and after dropping the first set, Carlos Alcaraz eliminated American Tommy Paul in 4 sets. On the women's side, Jasmine Paolini takes out American Emma Navarro in straight sets. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Jeff Rust at the Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Live, local, and free. No subscription required. Portland's sports leader is 1080 The Fan. today's worst day on the web. With Danny and Dusty on Odyssey and 1080 The Fan.
Man, that sucks.
Look, it's totally okay to hate Waste Management. We hate them here.
Absolutely.
They're a complete pain in the whatever hole you don't like.
My God.
No? No?
Jesus.
No? We're not going to go with that? Okay, that's fine.
Can't.
And I broke Jeff within 13 seconds. Not bad. Not bad. But I don't know if you saw over the weekend, Dusty. New York City discovered trash cans.
What?
Yeah. What's really funny is the Brits are making fun of us. Like, America just realized this? No. Don't lump us all in with those idiots in New York. Because we've had those trash cans since the 90s, early 90s.
What are we talking about?
New York City got trash cans. Like,
Instead of just piling bags of garbage on the curb.
because garbage men in New York just pick up trash
Yeah.
bags. That's how they've done. It makes it much easier
Yeah.
to chop up bodies.
I will tell you, I will tell you, going through and just having been there, month and a half ago, it's not as noticeable as you would think. Those trash men, they get
paid
work
a
done,
fortune.
and they move fast.
Yeah.
Like in the morning, it smells like Satan's beehole.
Yes.
But they clean, like, it is off the street really quickly, and I can understand that. But late at night, it piles up. Early in the morning, it's
Stanky.
there, stanky. But I when you said trash cans, I was like, well, there's a lot of them on, like, street corners. They're everywhere.
No,
But you're
actual,
talking like
pickup trash cans.
businesses and home. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
everyone. Like the actual trash can. What's terrible about this is back in October of 2022, New York ordered a $4 million study on whether trash piles are better on the street or in containers.
Well, there's a reason why the Brits are sitting there like, how could they not figure this out? Well,
Yeah.
yeah, the Black Plague kind of forced your hand on that one.
Yeah, you had to clean up the raw sewage running through your streets, turns out, and the rats, which, again, open containers or open trash on the ground, rats.
Ooh, I'll tell you this. Did not see a live rat
How?
in New York City.
Was it too hot?
Didn't see it. No, I
Did
don't
you stay
think
out
so.
of the subway?
No, we rode the subway everywhere.
Good Lord.
No rats. Saw zero rats. Like,
That seems impossible.
we actually had a conversation about this several times during our trip. Did not see a live rat.
I spent
Whether it was
one
through
day in the city and I saw,
Central
like, a
Park,
10.
Times Square, the subways. We were in Brooklyn, Bronx. We were in Queens. We were in Wall Street. Like, we were up and down
Do you have
Manhattan.
rat catchers out in front of you?
Nothing. I don't know. Did not see a live rat.
Rats are everywhere.
Yeah, didn't see
Rats
one.
and roaches
Yeah.
everywhere.
It was astonishing to us too.
So weird.
See, what's so amazing
5
about
days, zero rats.
what's so amazing about this announcement that they made is they held a press conference and everything
Oh,
Yeah.
and
to announce, welcome to our trash revolution.
and
to
Mayor
start
Adams
it off,
wheels out this stupid trash can, and they have. Did you see they taped it off?
they have it
They
taped
have a
off on the
square
sidewalk.
spot to tape off to where to put the can. It's like this is where you need to put it for the cameras.
Well, we should not be surprised by this at all. Remember last year they had their rat press conference.
Mhm.
You remember, it was
Yes.
it was a year ago. Eric Adams, the mayor there, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
He had
Still somehow.
he had the press conference announcing a rat task force. I'm here to tell you, it might be working.
You dirty
It
rat.
might be working. The rat task force. I didn't see a single one.
The insanity of this.
They love their
is,
press conferences.
they found that the study showed that it is better to pick up your trash, but
I'll be damned.
here's the thing: it's not required. It's
Now
not re-
Florida just needs
Yeah.
to follow suit.
Well, you're not required to have the can yet, but if you
talking
want
about
one,
people.
you can get one, but you have to pay for it. You have to pay for your own can.
It's another way waste management is a racket.
There you go.
Well, we know waste management in
In New York
in
and
that
New Jersey,
area.
yeah.
I mean,
Takes on a bit of a different connotation.
I'm not saying
But it's,
somebody could say,
it's hilarious. He called it "Welcome to our trash revolution."
please don't break my legs.
There's anything wrong with that?
And to order your bin, not trash cans, trash bin. They're trying to go full British. I hate bin. Put it in the bin. What bin? The trash can?
Yeah, well, I mean, just different strokes for different folks.
They use weird words over there. I don't like them.
Lou, the bobbies.
Yeah. Learn English.
Well, they quite literally.
No.
I think
no,
we need to learn it because they are English.
No, we won
we
the war.
took true American form and excised superfluous letters out of a lot of the words.
Oh, aluminium.
Use.
Yes, a lot of
We
use
got rid
where
of
they
a lot
don't
of
need to
use.
be.
Yeah.
Or like an E at the end of
Yeah.
theater.
And like Danny just said, at least we can pronounce aluminum correctly. And
Aluminium.
don't add letters.
Aluminium. Aluminum is a tough one. There's a lot of
Aluminum.
adult people that can't say
But there's no
aluminum.
extra I in there like they say. It's not aluminium.
Yeah.
It's aluminum.
I have a very American friend who says breakfast instead of breakfast. You know, it
That's
just
one of
happens.
those ones that stays.
He doesn't have like a speech impediment either. He just says breakfast.
I think it is.
That's the only word. It's like you can have him say anything, and he's like, "We've done this." Aluminum. He's fine. Okay, breakfast.
Ask
It's
someone.
like soup pillow.
Ask someone
or
from
golf.
Birmingham, Alabama, to say Tuesday, and you get Tuesday. You ask somebody from
Tuesday.
Birmingham, England, how to say Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Chew. I'm like, where's the CH in this word?
Yeah.
There's no W in Tuesday.
I like how
You
this
freaking limey.
this segment has gone from making fun of New York over finding trash cans are effective into xenophobia. I took a hard pivot right into that.
Is it xenophobia if it's of a country's ass you kicked?
Take it easy there, Kenny Powers.
I'm just saying.
I'm not xenophobic.
USA.
I just think
USA.
America's the best country in the world, and all the other countries can kiss my.
Yeah, I mean,
It used to be called patriotism.
yeah. I'm growing my hair out in solidarity with Kenny. But yeah, no, they $46 for the can, but also a $1.38 processing fee and $4 in taxes.
Can we stop the processing fees?
No,
Just
because
give
apparently,
me
yeah.
the price.
Well, we might get one, if they break up the monopoly in the concert world.
It's ridiculous, though. Like, you get processing fees for everything. Even, like, if you go to book a hotel, right? You book a hotel, and all of a sudden you're like, ooh, that's a good rate, you know?
$18 processing fee.
$150, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, you have your state hotel tax, your city hotel tax, your processing
Don't forget
fees,
resort
your
fees.
resort fee. Like, all of it, and all of a sudden you're like, well, that's not cheap at all.
Well, and even
I
buying
thought
like
that was against the law now. Just give me what it is with all of the taxes and fees. Put that price there for me.
even buying like movie tickets through the app now, you get charged a convenience fee for each ticket.
Yeah.
You know what it is?
Why? Because you don't want to
This-
hire employees, so you're just going to charge
Well, it's
me
like,
more?
guess
No,
what? I'm saving
this is
your
like-
ass money by not printing up a paper damn
Yes,
ticket.
Here's what it is. This is the charging of minutes and text messages. It actually doesn't matter, but they're just finding a way to market it or charge more for it. That's all it is.
Well, yeah.
There's no actual reason behind it other than we can gouge you.
Yeah. I don't like it. Like, I'm going to
Convenience fee. Like
I'm running for president, and this is my platform.
pushing the Super Bowl back a week and
No.
getting rid of convenience fees.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's it. That was it.
I can go with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not my running mate because you're going to go.
Well, you can.
You're going to prison very soon.
Well, then
I
you-
can't believe you got out of. I mean, you just got a ticket.
I mean, you can literally pawn things off on me. You can pin it on me. You can go full Watergate and just pin it on me.
No, I mean,
Gotta
I
have
guess
a
it really
patsy.
doesn't matter anymore, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we're at that point.
All right, coming up next, let's check in with Team USA. Kevin Durant, we do have some news on him. Also, stop being so Kevin Durant. Danny Dusty, Danny the Fan. Hour number 3 here in Portland on a wonderfully sunny day. Stay cool. Stay in the shade. Drink your water. Do all those things. Whether you're watching on youtube.com/1080 AM The Fan, twitch.tv/1080 AM The Fan, or listening along on 1080 AM terrestrial radio. We appreciate you. We love you.
Hey,
Pivoting back to some NFL stuff as we get into the dog days of summer, we will switch between football, baseball, basketball, and whatever floats our fancy.
that's right. We got a lot that we got to get to.
We do. But in the NFL, which team is going to have that bounce back, rebound kind of year that catches folks off guard?
I got 3 that come to mind just right off the bat, and I think the first 2 are 2 that aren't going to surprise anybody. One being, I think the Chargers are going to be really good this year. That's a no-brainer. When you have a roster that is talented, they do need help in their receiving game. But Jim Harbaugh, we know immediate returns come anytime Jim Harbaugh steps onto a campus or on a facility. And 5-12 last year, playing in the AFC West, where you have the Kansas City Chiefs, they have to play twice a year. That is a tough road to hope. But your beloved Raiders and the Denver Broncos, right there are 4 very winnable games that they fell apart last year in. And I think that, look, most important position in sports is the quarterback, right? And that was the biggest, head scratcher with the Chargers last year, was even when you had your quarterback, still weren't a very good football team. And that goes down to coaching. And one thing that I do know, Harbaugh is going to get the Chargers back. Like, they will be a competitive team no matter what, and their schedule is not a murderer's row, because in your division, the teams that you play, they do have to play the AFC North as one of the crossover divisions, and that is tough. But at the same token, your other crossover division that you have to go against is the NFC South next year for the AFC West. So you get games against the Panthers, the Saints, the Falcons, and Buccaneers,
Bucks.
right?
Yeah. I had to stop to think about who else was in that division too.
Winnable games for the Chargers. The other one, we just forget about how good he is, but Joe Burrow is healthy for the Cincinnati Bengals, and they were 9-8 last year. 9-8 with an injured and banged up Joe Burrow. The AFC North is going to be a gauntlet to go through, but again, we look at those crossover divisions, one of them being the AFC West, where you have 2 winnable games there, and they play the NFC East as their other crossover division. And you got to look at how the schedule kind of shapes up. When you get Joe Burrow back, when you have him healthy, where did they go in the draft? They went their first-round pick, Amarius Mims, the tackle out of Georgia, who's a mountain of a man. They bolstered their defensive line in the second round when they picked up Chris Jenkins, a defensive tackle out of Michigan. They are primed to be a team that takes that step forward again. Injuries, that will derail, especially to a quarterback as good as Joe Burrow. That'll derail your season. My third one is a little bit surprising. It actually surprised me when I went down and when I thought about this. I think the New York Giants are going to bounce back this year. A volatile division.
Who's the quarterback?
Daniel Jones.
Okay.
But to quote the great Joe Shane, their general manager, you could have put Patrick Mahomes behind that offensive line last year, and he would have looked atrocious. Saquon Barkley is gone. They go and they get Devin Singletary in the run game. They've tried to bolster their receiving core this year. You look at, again, their crossover divisions that they will be playing this year. And it is not, they have the AFC North. That's a tough one. But is anybody fully bought in on Dan Quinn leading the Washington Commanders this year? No. The Dallas Cowboys should be good this year, but the variables that are there in the hits that they have
Prescott's
taken,
foot might be falling off. Didn't you know?
Dak Prescott's foot's falling off.
Good God.
Our birds' heads are falling off. They play against the NFC South as well in a crossover division. Look at where they got better. Think about what they have up front defensively now, right? They go and they get Brian Burns. You're pairing Brian Burns with Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence on the defensive front. Defense is going to be good this year. The offense, they went out and they said, we cannot put Daniel Jones behind that offensive line again. Remember, they were a playoff team 2 years ago.
Mhm.
They go and they get John Runyon Jr., they get Jermaine Eluemunor in free agency. They tried to bolster their receiving core. I think the Giants are not going to be, and I'm not saying you go from worst to first in your division by any means.
But there's always one.
But Malik Neighbors,
Mhm.
that was their number one pick, the 8th overall pick, right?
No, it was
Sixth,
Atlanta.
sixth,
Yeah.
sixth was Malik Neighbors. Their defense, their front's going to be good. They actually have a target for Daniel Jones to throw to. That is a number one in Malik Neighbors with Darius Slayton on the outside. I think they're going to be better this year. And it all hinges on, can Evan Neal at right tackle take a step forward? Andrew Thomas, Eluemunor, Runyon, and Neal as your guards and tackles, they improved their offensive line this year. And you couldn't run behind that offensive line. You couldn't throw the ball behind that offensive line last year. I think everybody, and we took the shots at Daniel Jones because he is the quarterback and he's the one that got paid last offseason, right?
Mhm.
The shots, rightfully so, went towards Daniel Jones. They had so many other issues, from not having a true number one wide receiver to
Sure.
not having an offensive line. They were a broken offense last year.
There's a team
I think
in
the
here.
New York Giants are gonna be okay this year.
There's a team in
not
here
win the division.
you've
Be good.
mentioned in both the Chargers and the Giants that I think is going to be the team that does it. The Falcons.
Yeah, the Falcons with Kirk Cousins this year.
Their crossovers
Raheem
in
Moore.
NFC East and AFC West.
Yep.
Like those same opportunities that are there for the Giants and the Chargers.
They can win their division.
Yes. And
They can win their division.
they have so many weapons on offense. And now they have competent level quarterback play. Whether they go with Kirk or they go with Penix,
No doubt about it.
they've got a quarterback.
No
That was
doubt
the thing
about
last year. I went, no, I don't care how many weapons they have. They have nobody who can throw the ball. I did not, would not, could not trust whoever was under center for that team. Watching Desmond Ridder was comically hilarious.
Kirk Cousins, Mike Penix Jr. That's the one thing I just don't get, though, is they felt their roster was complete enough to draft Michael Penix. And I don't think it is, but Bijan Robinson,
Mhm.
for my money, he may be the best running back in the
Yeah.
NFL next year.
Out of the backfield, between the tackles, catching the ball, screen game, power game, get to the edge, speed. Like it's all there.
They are going to, I think the
Kyle
Atlanta
Pitts
Falcons
is
win
going
the
to
NFC
go
South.
insane. He's going to
You
go
would
insane. Look, if he doesn't, then it's on him at this point in time because they've got an offensive line. They've got maybe the best guard in the game in Lidstrom.
Mm-hmm.
They've got interior protection.
I think the same goes for Drake London, too.
Yes.
Like,
And they were putting up good numbers
Mhm.
with
well, Pitts wasn't because they didn't throw
throwing
him the ball.
Well, once they canned Arthur, they actually started getting him the like what was the last 7 games? Pitts got more targets in 7 games or something like that than he had gotten in the previous year and a half.
Yeah.
So, look, if they're not game planning to get the ball to those 3 guys, then it's an organizational problem at that point.
Absolutely.
But you look at their defense is okay. Like I think all of their DBs are basically like second tier kind of guys. Like Clark
Yep.
Phillips is a dude, but he's 5'9". Like he can't be your number one corner. Like as much as I love him, how smart he is, how hard he works.
He was a little guy. I don't even know if he's 5'9".
I'm just saying him and the USC DB Adoree. He reminds me of like bulkier Adoree Jackson. Like where you're just like, look, you try hard, you're athletically gifted as hell, but you're just tiny.
Yep.
And the way that wide receiver position is played right now is because there's Drake Londons in the world out there that are just gonna manhandle you. And that worries me a little bit, but I think offensively they're gonna be great.
And their defense just gotta stay competent
Yeah.
enough. And I think with Raheem Moore, you're gonna get that.
Yes.
You're gonna get a little bit more of that. You have a defensive-minded head coach, but that also is a terrifying prospect for me, is having a defensive-minded head coach and saying we're going to make the big leap forward.
Yeah, which is always like, I don't know. But yeah, no, I'm with you on that list. The Chargers, it's less for me Herbert offense and more Harbaugh. Just it's the Harbaugh effect.
Absolutely.
He doesn't. You just don't suck when he's your coach.
Well, in wide receiver is
A real question.
It is a big question because Quentin Johnson has got to take a step forward. And
3.
look, you're
3
going
steps forward.
to going to be relying on Ladd McConkey to be a possession receiver and checking down.
Mm-hmm.
And We know Greg Roman with his time in Baltimore.
Mhm.
It is not a push you vertically
It's not
and make
explosive.
a mistake. Everything was Lamar Jackson can't throw the ball downfield. He can't throw the ball. Well, they didn't have a guy to throw the ball downfield to. They went out in the draft, identified Ladd McConkey as the guy who was going to be their underneath receiver, and he's going to get a lot of touches this year because he has to get a lot of touches. I also think that their tight end room is really strong too, with Disley, Hayden Hurst, and Parham as a receiving kind of tight end.
And what does Harbaugh love?
Tight ends.
Yeah.
And they're going to use the hell out of them.
And what has Justin Herbert never had to throw to?
Well, he's always had Parham.
But I mean, like, as far, I should say schematically, he has not been a guy like Everett was, because there was like, well, he's the only one healthy right now because Keenan Allen's hamstring blew up and Mike Williams got hurt again.
They just have to stay healthy. And I think losing your center is a big one.
Yeah.
But I trust anything Jim Harbaugh does offensively because it is going to be built in the trenches and they're going to rely on it. And they just need to stay healthy up front too, because Rashawn Slater has been banged up year in, year out. But you have on your tackles, you have Slater and Joe Alt. It's a pretty damn good start if you are the Chargers.
Every time I see the Joe Alt stats, it's like 6'8", 362. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Dude.
What?
Monster. And the funniest thing was like, the Chargers might not draft Joe Alt. It's like that.
What?
No, they will.
Yeah.
They will draft Joe Alt, and whoever's in front of them should say, "We're drafting Joe Alt," because he'll trade up just to get Joe Alt
because that's his guy. So, all right, coming up next, Jeff Russ dropped a chaos grenade on the show pre-show when he asked, I started thinking about this. What is the Mount Rushmore of Tom Hanks movies?
Yes, because today is Tom Hanks' 68th birthday.
And it's Isaac Ropp's birthday today.
I don't think he's 68.
I mean, the beard says otherwise.
The man acts 68 a lot of the time.
That's a valid point.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that and Mark here on Danny and Dusty, 1080 The Fan.
It was long ago.
All right. Tom Hanks is 68 years old. 1 year's off being nice.
Happy birthday, Tom.
And Jeff Russ says, what's the Mount Rushmore of Tom Hanks? And I think this can go a lot of different ways, but I immediately have two.
Okay.
But I'm interested how quickly you were able to come to yours.
It's harder than you think because of his catalog and how long it is and how many genres and decades that it spans. I go, well, Forrest Gump is up there.
Yep.
And that is in there. I will also throw just right off the cuff, if you're asking me, I would want to go with Saving Private Ryan, but I was a big fan of The Green Mile.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. I think The Green Mile, and then, shoot. This is really hard because you can go so many different directions on this. You could even go kids movies like Toy Story, but I won't. I'm going to go Forrest Gump, The Green Mile, and then I'm going to throw in a... Oh, man. This is really hard. Because I love Big. I love Saving Private... Well, I'll go Saving Private Ryan in my fourth one, which is near and dear to my heart because it is a creepy, funny classic, is The Burbs.
Okay.
I'm going number 4, The Burbs. But look, the dude has Band of Brothers, Road to Perdition. He's got Big, as I said on there. He's got Castaway, which I hate that movie with the passion of a thousand suns, but I understand. People love Castaway. He's got Catch Me If You Can in there. The Da Vinci Code, which not a great movie because if you read the book, that's the ultimate, like, I read the book.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah, if you read the book, you hated the movie.
Yeah, he's got a bunch. There is no wrong answer here unless
there
you
really isn't. And I stole this
unless
from
you have Saving Mr. Banks because that was not a good movie.
Lady Killers wasn't exactly great either. But yeah, I stole this from the guys that were covering for Colin this morning, Covino and Rich, which was like the one good thing they've ever done while filling in for Colin.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, they're awful. Anyway, so I actually sat down and I took a little bit of time. I went through his filmography on the IMDb.
You went Sully.
And I did not go Sully. I had to put in mine Splash.
I love Splash.
Okay.
Great
Love
movie.
Splash. John Candy, you got to get him in there too. I'm with you on Big. I think that's another classic. That was one of the, I don't remember if that got nominated for an Oscar or was at least people felt it was snubbed for a nomination anyway, back when that came out. Because comedies weren't exactly Oscar material back then. And I also went Forrest Gump because it's such an epic tale, and you just gotta love the guy in that one. You're rooting for Forrest the whole way. And then I did just for the cultural zeitgeist that it became was Toy Story.
Toy Story.
I mean,
Well, you also have like in that too
It was the
a League
birth of
of
Pixar.
Their Own, where he was the drunk manager, and
No
he was
crying in
awesome in
baseball.
that. Yeah, I mean, he's got one of the iconic
crying?
lines.
Still crying in baseball?
It's fantastic. Where do we have no bachelor party for you, Rust? I was thinking bachelor party would be.
Well, look, we can only pick 4 here.
Yeah.
There's some tough cuts you got to make. Bachelor Party's a good one, absolutely.
I have there. So the formative years of my childhood were littered with Tom Hanks movies.
You've Got Mail.
Not that one.
Sleeps in Seattle.
The Money Pit
Ooh.
is up there.
That's a great one.
The turkey flying through the entire kitchen,
Yes.
and then pop with the popper on the thermometer.
That may be one of the movies that I was at an age where, when like things just keep going wrong, it just frustrates the hell out of you. I remember at a young age being like, I can't believe this.
Yeah.
Like, what? Why are they doing this again and again and again? Like, what are you guys doing?
The peeing fountain,
Yes.
the bathtub falling through the floor, and then the meltdown laugh. I remember watching that so vividly as a kid. We had the VHS, and so I remember that one stuck. This isn't on the list. Like, I'm narrowing it down in this time period. It's going to be one of these 3: Dragnet, Pep Strebeck, him and Aykroyd.
Mm-hmm.
Young, dumb me watching him in sheepskin and a mohawk stuck on his head, stuffing a fistful of pills down the throat of a python. Just for whatever reason, is just burned in my memory. And then Turner and Hooch.
Turner and Hooch is it's a buddy cop.
You know, that was the first real buddy cop. But I think I'm gonna go Money Pit from that era.
Okay.
But I remember those three being so formative for me when I was younger.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. I think we're all gonna have Forrest Gump on here. I think we all can all agree like Forrest Gump's probably one of the greatest films of
it really is
modern times.
It is.
It's that great.
Well, he had so many movies with cultural, like large cultural impacts on it.
Like
Whether
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is you can't ignore that.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump is another one.
Yeah.
The cultural significance of Forrest Gump and going through the timeline of a guy where there are people who are like, was there a person really actually in all of these?
Yeah.
You know, but it was
Did Forrest Gump play for Alabama?
a league of their own too, in kind of bringing into focus the fact that during World War II, women played professional baseball, and that was a thing, and the impact of that film there. And then you get into the guy is a historian, right?
Yes.
Shane Gillis would say he's been skewing Republican for a really long
And
time
that's
because
where
of
I'm going
his
with pick number 4.
World War II.
Band of Brothers. Band of Brothers is it's the best miniseries of all time.
It is. I mean,
I saw one of the grading metrics of the 50 greatest shows of all time.
Yep.
I think they finished 3rd behind Breaking Bad and something else. But as far as like scores, they took like the scores across 10 different like of the major services, was like Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes and what all of them, you know. And it finished 3rd. To me, it's the greatest show ever made.
it's incredible.
Especially when you look at the cast. But I mean, like that series emotionally for me gutted me on levels that no other thing I have ever watched did, and it captured, you know, it came out when I was in the service still. So for me, it was, although different, it was the understanding of what all of that was, and that commitment, and then the Battle of Bastogne, the Bastogne episode is like, it's still to this day, I can't watch it without like damn near shaking, thinking about what that siege must have been like. And Spielberg and Hanks did such an insanely incredible, does not even come close to capturing like the words necessary to describe what they did in that episode. To me, it's the single best episode of television, quote unquote, ever made.
And we're getting a lot of text in here. And as this person points out, like, you want to talk about significance in a genre, my wife is yelling at you guys, Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail. I mean, those two in the rom-com genre.
You've Got Mail made the AOL thing synonymous.
Let's face it, You've Got Mail was just Sleepless in Seattle too.
It was.
But I mean, like it made that made that synonymous again with what Dusty's talking about culturally. Yeah. And this is about saying Captain Phillips. I'm the captain now.
I'm the captain now.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, like, there's like.
In Toy Story, the first Pixar.
Yeah, I mean, that started a literal $1 billion franchise.
Damn. All right. It's actually, like, everybody has their 4 favorites. Like, you could go 4 most, like, significant films. And Tom Hanks, his 4 would probably be up there. It would be up there with any actor.
Yeah.
Like with the ones that we just named.
Like
I mean, think about
you
like
throw Charlton Heston or Elizabeth. God, what the hell is her last name?
Taylor.
Thank you. Totally blanking. But you take the greatest actors in the history of Hollywood, and you can put Tom Hanks's most influential, most impactful films up, and he'll probably win.
His second 4. His Mount Rushmore runner-up, like the Mount Rushmore that's like in Vegas somewhere, not like the real Eiffel Tower and not the real pyramids.
Yeah.
Like, you could put, or real Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
You could put his second for the Vegas Mount Rushmore, and it would probably stand up against anybody else's. Yeah. Almost anybody else's.
And speaking of cultural significance, we even mentioned Apollo 13.
Yeah, Apollo 13, man.
Which that took over. I want to say that was the #1 movie in America for, I want to say it was literal months.
It was
when that came out.
probably until Titanic came out.
Yeah.
I do have to give honorable mention though to Bosom Buddies too. That was like one of my
Yeah.
first favorite TV
Little
shows as a
sitcom.
kid. Like that and Mork and Mindy were basically my first two favorite shows.
Nanu.
Nanu Nanu.
All right. God, his list and in the texts that are coming in, there are so many that have been out here and he's still putting out really good movies. Greyhound, which is on Apple TV, really
I
good.
still need to watch that.
Really? Yeah,
Yes.
you do need to
That's
watch that.
on my list.
A Man Called Otto is it is funny, it's gut-wrenching, it is it goes through every
And that one kind of gets glossed
emotion
over because it came out during COVID.
Dude, it was an incredible film. Like, it's one of the ones that rewatchability 2, but
Because it hurts.
quality 10. It was a really good story about the growth and
Oh God, Bridge of Spies. That's another great one.
yeah, the growth and then plummet of humanity in one person. It's really good. I liked a Man Called Otto. It was really damn good. We got one that says Big, Forrest Gump, Saving
Yeah.
Private Ryan, Turner and Hooch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dragnet. He was Dragnet. Also underrated.
Yeah.
Underrated movie.
You kidding me?
Again.
Streetback, love it.
You could probably do a Mount Rushmore for each genre of film that he's been in, and
Drama,
each
action,
genre would
historical.
still just be
Yeah.
stacked.
Yes, comedy.
What about, like, this texture says you could do a Mount Rushmore of just Tom Hanks lines.
Yeah.
He has Wilson.
Yeah.
There's no crying in baseball.
Life
is like a box of chocolates. You're a toy
Yeah.
from Toy Story, as this texture points out. He's got, dude, Tom Hanks is a treasure. And we need to protect him. And Joe vs. Volcano is actually good. That text coming in, never
Joe versus the Volcano is underrated.
Never seen it. Never seen it at all.
I
I
mean,
don't even know what that movie's about.
you could make it. You could
I'm
make a
guessing a man against a volcano.
But I mean, you could make a Mount Rushmore just from his Toy Story movies.
No, there are 4 of them.
I mean, and they all crushed.
Really good.
Like they're all just absolutely insanely good. Wasn't there like a gap of like 12 years between Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 3? Wasn't there like a massive gap between one of them? Because Toy Story 3 is 2010. I want to say.
Well, Toy Story 1 was 96.
Yeah, the 95.
95.
It's 15 years between
Yeah.
Toy Story and Toy Story 3.
So Toy Story 95, Toy Story 2 was 99, and then 2010 for Toy Story 3 and 2019 for Toy Story 4.
So
They're spanning 24 years there.
that's nuts,
And then Lightyear
man.
came out in 2022, which was, of course, Buzz's, action figure origin story. Directed by Beaverton High School alumnus Angus McLean.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, class of 93.
Good old Angus.
Look at that. The connection to Beaverton High School never
Beaverton greatness
fails.
just keeps
Just
going.
never fails with you guys.
It's what Beaverton does.
Boy.
It just generates greatness.
I'm looking at
And me.
and Jeff Rust too. I'm looking at IMDb's. I don't agree with this list. They have the most culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant movies of all time. Event Horizon, which we talked about, horror movie, it comes in before any Tom Hanks movie and before Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and The Breakfast Club. I don't feel I agree with that. I still haven't gotten to, like, what they don't have Forrest Gump. Like, Forrest Gump should be like number 1.
I
Number 1 here is Dr. Strangelove.
I don't believe I've seen Event Horizon.
You don't. You wouldn't be for you.
It hurts to watch.
Yeah.
It's very graphic.
Yeah. A spaceship goes to hell.
Yeah.
That's not a Tom Hanks joint
No.
right there. And
Although Tom Hanks in that would make it interesting.
yeah. What's his worst movie, you think?
Ooh.
The worst movie Tom Hanks has done.
Lady Killers is not a good one.
He's got to have
You mean
a stinker in there.
Isn't it multiple Academy Award winning The Lady Killers?
Was that? What?
It's like,
I don't know,
it's like an
man.
art house movie, man. That's why it sucked. It wasn't for us.
No.
We're elevated beyond that. We're Beards and High graduates.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was a Coen Brothers joint too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Eesh.
typically, anytime I see that, I'm like, it's not gonna be for me.
Coen Brothers movies?
Yeah, never really been my jam.
All right.
Raising Arizona.
My uncle does all of the production design
No, it's
for the Coen Brothers.
I don't think they're
movies.
bad. They're just not my jam.
Yeah. Yeah. Who else could we put head to head with?
Fargo?
What?
Fargo. Coen Brothers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I know.
Burn After Reading.
Mhm.
The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
The Hudsucker Proxy.
Yeah, remember I Fall in the Big Lebowski?
I
Entirely average.
Boy, have either of you guys seen Larry Crown?
I've
No.
not.
So that might be it.
That might be it for me. And I love Julia Roberts, and I love Tom Hanks. No.
De Niro's probably the one you put up against him because he's done action, historical, comedy.
Yeah, you could go. I mean, Denzel has got.
Which he's got Gladiator 2 coming out.
He's in Gladiator 2.
He's the main antagonist or protagonist.
Really?
Yeah.
In Gladiator. All right, hell yeah, let's go. All right. Jeez, a lot of text coming. And Toy Story 5 they're not making a Toy Story 5, are they really?
AI, they could just, capture the voices. Like, they're all still alive.
Man.
Except for Don Rickles.
Was Rickles in Toy Story?
He's a
Yeah, isn't he not the pig?
crap.
He's one of
Mr.
them.
Potato Head.
No, that's
Mr. Potato
Cheers.
Head. Yeah, that's Cliff Clavin.
No, he's Ham.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, he's the pig.
Is he?
Oh, and then of course Jim Varney was also the Slinky
Yeah.
Dog in the first one.
R.I.P. Jim Varney. Maybe Jim Varney's catalog stacks up with Tom Hanks.
There you go.
I mean,
Ernest
you have
Goes to
Toy
Camp.
Story, Ernest Goes to Camp, Ernest Saves Halloween,
Ernest Goes to
Saves,
Jail.
Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah.
Ernest looked like he probably should go to jail.
Yeah.
Know what I mean, Vern?
That was one where I remember my dad being like, I can't believe you like this. And I was like, I don't like it, Dad.
Oh.
I love it.
Oh, there you go. that and Pee Wee Herman?
I was Pee Wee Herman. I've been Pee Wee Herman 3 times for Halloween.
Yeah.
Francis!
Was that a drop or was that you?
That was him.
me.
That was actually really good.
That was a real live Pee Wee drop
That-
from
that
Jeff
was,
Russ.
That was pretty good.
I love Pee Wee
That
Herman.
made my ears perk up. I was like, whoa.
It was very uncomfortable for my parents when I was Pee Wee the year he
He did that.
went to the movies. Pee Wee goes to the movies, and then little Dusty is Pee Wee Herman for Halloween, and my parents are like, sorry. The other 2 times I was Pee Wee Herman were after
Oh,
I was an adult.
there you go.
Had a Pee Wee look about me.
Did
I
you
don't
have
know
one
what to
super
say.
hairy hand?
Wow.
All right, on that note, coming up next, what NBA team would need the help of a nemesis to create a real trade? But first, here's Big Kahuna with Sports on Update. Here's a headline for you. Heat desperation trade for $160 million star would require help of Nemesis. Dun, 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 dun.
Don't do it.
Sean Devaney of Heavy.com says the Heat and the Blazers could strike a deal over Jeremy Grant. And it makes sense for both sides. When he says it makes sense for both sides, he means it makes sense for the Miami Heat. He's picking up the mantle of one Barry Jackson and one Ethan Skolnick from last year of saying very stupid things about the Miami Heat's very not good assets.
Ooh.
He floats a credible offer from the Miami Heat for Jeremy Grant is Terry Rozier and Kel'el Ware.
Nope.
Wait,
Kel'el Ware, who?
They just
what
drafted.
position does he play?
Center.
Oh, what position did the Blazers draft at 7?
The center.
Oh, okay.
Is the credible offer in the room with us? Because I don't see it here.
No.
Where's the credible offer? And he goes on to say, well, they could throw in Tyler Harrell, the guy they've been trying to get rid of for nothing that nobody wants.
All right.
Okay.
None
so
of
if the
this
Miami
is really
Heat
making sense.
are interested in Jeremy Grant, and Los Angeles Lakers are interested in Jeremy Grant, and the Sacramento Kings were interested in Jeremy Grant, and there's multiple teams that are interested in Jeremy Grant, something tells me the market for Jeremy Grant isn't Terry Rozier and Kel'el Ware.
No.
Any
first involved in that?
No.
Oh, okay,
no,
cool.
No. Well, it's Kel'el Ware. Well, he was a first.
No.
It's like being sold to Nikola
I am
Jovic line all over again.
Sick of that. And Jaime Jaquez, like, hey, could be first round. Those are first round picks. Yeah, by the Miami Heat, not the Portland Trailblazers. Okay, I'm just done with Miami spewing this kind of stuff out. It's not gonna happen. No. It's not gonna work.
Here's another line. The problem though is the Blazers want something in the range of 2 first rounders for Grant. They're not going to get it, but if we learned about something about Joe Cronin last year, it's that he will stick to his own guns even at his own expense. You can tell the way this is written is in the voice of Miami, so to speak.
You think?
He's got a quote from an executive here, which, again, you can find whatever quote you want from whatever executive in the NBA. I'm telling you that's a real thing. They're stubborn. Part of the job is to be stubborn, though. But part of the job is also seeing your mistakes and getting out of them. Grant was a mistake. Trading him now just to get out of that salary is the right thing to do. Take whatever picks or young guys you can get.
No. They are under the impression that Jeremy Grant is demanding a trade like Damian Lillard, and the Blazers are up against it right now.
They're not.
They're not at this point. At this juncture,
and if you have multiple teams calling on that player, then there's a market for said player.
Yeah. I kind of want to see it happen, though, because that would vault Miami into the second apron. And they would just be in hell even more. I don't want it for anything that they are going to try and give Portland in return. And this is one of the things that we came well accustomed to last year, you especially, is how many times Miami will say, this is what needs to happen. And then that article right there will turn into a, hey, they'll need to get a third team involved, but that's on Portland to do, not Miami, which is quite contrary to what should be happening here.
So there you go. Just a little toss in there. I don't think we're working on anything too insane there as it pertains to trading with the enemy.
And Folly Dante just got signed by the Houston Rockets out of an NBA.
He's on a two-way
note there. Yeah.
He's on a little two-way deal.
He found a home after getting denied by the NCAA.
Yeah. Go make more money in Folly. Coming up next, we'll put a nice little bow on today's show before we hand you off to Isaac Suk here on Danny and Dusty, Danny the Fan. Fan Golf Classic this Thursday. Autotown GMC presents 10th Annual Fan Golf Classic, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. The deadline for the last couple of foursomes in the morning round is tonight at midnight. Tonight.
Get it in.
This is your last chance to sign up. We got great prizes, contestants, raffles, beverages aplenty. Victoricos will be out there with their world famous breakfast burritos. Matt's will be there with their award-winning barbecue. You and I, Dirt and Sprague, Isaac and Suk, we will all be out there all day long, partaking in all of the glory and all of the holes.
The look on your face when you found out we will be on the sixth hole, the par 3 sixth hole volcano at 7:15 a.m. I don't know what kind of shape you're going to be in at 7:15 a.m. I don't know if you wake up that early. When's the last time you woke up at 7 to be somewhere at 7:15?
Oh, to be somewhere at 7? It's been a little while for that.
Yeah.
I get to the gym at 8, so I usually get it, which means I roll out of bed at like 7:30.
Okay. Getting to the gym is not a